Welcome back, gamers. Today's topic, D.Va, and you can expect a separate video about the Mecha Squad in the near future. Do me a favor and subscribe already!
Game on!
The first known Gwishin was the Omni Colossus that emerged from the East China Sea 20 years ago. The appearance of a massive robotic menace years after the end of the Omni Crisis shocked the whole world. Its immediate advance on South Korea set off alarms and triggered a response from Overwatch. They have brought down a number of titans during the crisis, but this Colossus dwarfs any enemy the strike team encountered thus far. With help from the Korean military, they have managed to defeat it. Parts of its wreckage were recovered and brought over for the examination. Dr. Liao, with Korean researchers, thoroughly analyzed its design and confirmed that it's brand new, never seen anywhere up to this point. Liao suspected the existence of a secret underwater omnium, but she didn't have any proof. Scientists even checked up on Anubis to make sure that he didn't break containment, but it wasn't the case. Every couple of months the Gwishin Colossus would re-emerge from the sea to rain havoc on the coastal cities. It looked different each time, it learned from their previous encounters and kept evolving to gain the upper hand. Due to the underwater nature of the Omnium, its design often resembled aquatic animals such as squids, octopuses or crabs. However, the real origin of the Gwishin remains unknown to this day. When Overwatch was disbanded, South Korea had to look for a new way to defend itself from Gwishin. At first they used airborne remotely controlled drones, however they had trouble keeping up with the enemy. And Gwishin eventually found a way to jam their signal, forcing Koreans to use human-piloted mechs. Their first designs were clearly inspired by the Volskaya mechs which defended Russia during the Omni Crisis. However, some crucial changes were required due to different combat environment. Battles with Gwishin were usually fought above water or in urban areas. So, maneuverability and speed were important during the engagements to avoid unnecessary collateral damage.
D.Va, have you seen the Svyatogorsk? Now that is what I call a mech.
Size isn't everything.
Scrambling to find suitable pilots, the government turned to the country's professional gamers, who possessed the necessary reflexes and instincts to operate the mech's advanced weapon systems. Top stars were drafted, including the 19-year-old D.Va. Hana Song grew up playing classic video games with her father, himself being a former professional gamer in his younger years. He was the one that introduced her to StarCraft, and her undeniable skill helped lay the foundation for her eventual esports victories in other games. She became a Mecha Guardian 5 player in high school, quickly ascending to the #1 rank, winning the World Championship. Hana saw the new mission as a game and an evolution of her own career. Without hesitation, she abandoned the limelight of her pro gamer career and got an armored mech operator's license. As a member of the Mecha Squad under the command of Captain Myung, she could put her reflexes to the ultimate test on a real battlefield instead of a digital one.
I should introduce you to Taeyeon. He takes care of my mech when I'm back home.
If that's true, he must have lots of experience.
Yeah, Hey!
Not long ago, D.Va also started streaming her combat operations to her adoring fans. The growing following turned her into a global icon. This got her many sponsorship deals, including a collaboration with Nano Cola.
Hey! Who took my Nano Cola?
That stuff's no good for you. Have some water instead.
You just wanted to drink it yourself.
Maybe.
At some point, D.Va also played one of the leading roles in the new movie Hero of My Storm.
The paparazzi better not get in my way.
As an active member of the military, Song can no longer freely travel, so she became an avid reader of May's online journal. For more details, check out our video about May's lore.
May, I love reading your journal. I'm so jealous you get to go to all those places.
That's true. I guess you don't get to travel very much.
And that brings us to the events of Shooting Stars cinematic. As time passed, the strain of defending South Korea from the Gwishin began to wear on Song. During a particularly intense battle in Busan, fought amidst a thunderstorm, the mecha unit managed to defeat the Omnics, but just barely. The other mechs suffered severe damage, and their pilots were injured, leaving Song as the only one to emerge largely unharmed. While her teammates took time off and the media portrayed her as enjoying the spotlight with celebrities, Song actually chose to stay on duty. Over the following week, she worked tirelessly on repairing and fine-tuning her mech with the help of Dae-Young, now her official mecha mechanic. Believing that both her team and the city were depending on her, and knowing that a single mistake could lead to disaster, she carried the burden quietly. Dae-Young saw how much pressure she was under and urged her to take a break and lean on others when needed, but Song insisted she was fine and had everything under control. But the calm didn't last. Just a week after the last battle, much sooner than anyone expected, 5 Gwishin Omnics launched another assault on Busan. With the rest of the mecha squad still on leave, only Song and Dae-Yan were available to respond. Without hesitation, Song deployed her mech and engaged the attackers. She managed to eliminate 2 of the Omnics, but the remaining 3 outmaneuvered her, severely damaging her mech and destroying one of its fusion cannons. Dae-Yan urged her to retreat and wait for backup, but Song knew reinforcements wouldn't arrive in time. Refusing to back down, she pulled a sharp turn and managed to take out 2 more enemies. The last Gwishin, however, broke away and made a direct path towards the city. Song gave chase, but her weapons failed to land a hit. When she tried to attack again, the Omnic entangled her mech and ripped off the remaining cannon. With all her systems critical and no firepower left, she realized she couldn't stop it alone and called on Dae-Yan for help. As he assessed the mech's failing systems, the unstable reactor caught their attention. Song recalled their earlier talk about his destroyed hover cycle and proposed a desperate plan: overload the reactor on purpose. Dae-Yan resisted at first, but ultimately agreed. While Song drew the Omnic's attention, he initiated the overload, giving them just 60 seconds before the reactor exploded. The problem? The Omnic would reach Busan before then. Thinking fast, Song ejected from the mech and using only her light gun, fired at the exposed reactor from a distance. Her shot hit true, detonating the mech and taking the Omnic down with it. She plunged into the ocean below and was later found by a search and rescue team with Dae-Yan by her side as she was taken in for treatment. In the aftermath, South Korean media released an update on the attack, citing official reports that claimed Song had walked away unscathed. But the truth was far different. She suffered a broken leg, fractured arm and several other minor injuries. Despite that, Song didn't spend her recovery idle. Instead, she used her time off to help Dae-Yan begin work on building her new mech. Grateful for his support during the most critical moments, she took the time to thank him for standing by her when she needed it the most. Not long after the battle, Song and the rest of Mecha Squad watched a news report detailing the Null Sector's devastating attack on Paris, and how it had been repelled by a newly reformed Overwatch. Seeing this, Song asked Captain Myung if Mecha planned to reach out. She argued their experience finding Omnics could be a huge asset, but Myung shut the idea down. HQ had strictly forbidden any contact with Overwatch. Mecha's priority, she reminded them, was defending Korea from the ongoing Gwishin threat. In light of Song's recent solo victory, the squad was ordered to remain on high alert in case of another Gwishin attack. Everyone agreed without protest, but later, in private, Song pressed Myung again. She reminded her of the cause of disunity during the first Omni crisis. Millions had died because the world failed to act together. If Myung could make the case to HQ, Song believed they would listen. Myung admitted, off the record, that she respected what Overwatch once stood for, but under the Petras Act, South Korea was still bound by law, and Mecha couldn't go rogue. Before their conversation could continue, alarms blared. Null Sector was attacking Busan.
All systems fired up and ready to engage!
Thousands of Omnis rained down from a massive command ship via drop pods. Mecha Squad was deployed immediately. Song requested permission to go after the ship, but Myung denied it. Their orders were to protect evacuation routes first. But it soon became clear, the command ship was deploying a near-endless wave of enemies. If they didn't take it out, Busan wouldn't stand a chance. Myung adapted the plan. D.Va and King would assault the ship, while the rest held the line. But the Omnics overwhelmed them. One by one, the mechs went down, until only Song was left standing. Myung gave the order to fall back, but Song refused. "We have to save Busan," she said. And then the tide turned. A dropship burst through the clouds. Overwatch had arrived.
Justice reigns from above!
While Overwatch engaged Null Sector on the ground, Myung gave a new order. Mecha Squad was to target the command ship. All 5 mechs rallied, opening fire with everything they had. The ship finally retreated. With Busan secure, the remaining null sector forces were cleaned up, and the dropship was escorted back to the mecha base. Inside, Song met with Cole Cassidy and other Overwatch members. They hadn't just come to help. They were there to ask if Mecha was willing to work together. Myung gave Song the green light. She handled HQ. Song's new mission: join Overwatch, assess the null sector threat firsthand and report back. With a smile, D.Va accepted. The next day, she boarded the dropship, flying to Watchpoint Gibraltar and into a new chapter.
Being part of Overwatch, getting to save the world. Isn't it awesome, Farah?
Yeah, it is pretty awesome.
Nice mecha. Exoforce, right? What's that like?
Lots of fighting, not much sleep.
Sounds familiar. How do you deal with it?
More caffeine than you'd ever believe.
You'd be surprised.
Hannah's moniker is a play on the word diva, meaning a female celebrity. Her mech is called Toki, which means rabbit. Both mech and her suit have sponsors all over it, which is a reference to the same advertising style of sponsoring in Korean esport. D.Va and Moira are the only characters in the game that use randomized quick melee attacks with both hands. However, with D.Va it only applies to her mech form. Remember the movie I mentioned earlier in this video? Hero of My Storm posters can be found around Hollywood and Oasis. Movie's title is obviously a reference to another Blizzard's game, Heroes of the Storm. Besides D.Va, the movie also stars Robert Greenways and Despion 4.0. Both of these guys have their own stars at the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and their photos with autographs can be found inside the diner on Route 66, or in Covered Luna in Paris. The next piece of trivia isn't exactly about D.Va, but I thought it's interesting, so here we go. I found a lot of information about Gwishin for this video in the Overwatch Declassified book. Like I said earlier, at the beginning Overwatch agents were assisting the South Korean military. However, in the book there were two particular agents listed along with their nicknames: Soundquake and Fusionator. These two names were featured in the first Overwatch cinematic in 2014. This is a crazy reference.
That was so cool! In that one battle they had Soundquake. So which one's your favorite? Mine's Fusionator. No. Tracer. Yeah, Tracer!
We don't have any idea what they look like, so for all we know, they could be one of these characters in the trailer. Anyway, it's cool that even characters like these got some lore background. And who knows, maybe one of them will eventually make it to the game as a playable character someday. D.Va's concept and abilities were inspired by a character called Breed from the cancelled Project Titan. However, Breed made it into the final game of Overwatch in a way. Just take a look at a billboard advert in the Kanezaka map. Arcade in Hanamura also features a woman of similar appearance, which suggests that maybe originally she's supposed to be from Japan. By the way, there was a lot of speculation around these posters over the years. People thought that maybe they were teasing future heroes or something. Well, none of these turned out to be true. Alright, this is it. Thanks for making it to the end, and be on the lookout for the Mecha Squad lore video. See you in the next one, cheaters!